Well, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Let the Truth Be Told. My name is Sean Williams, and I'm so excited to be in the studio once again. I thank the Lord for UPTV, Jason, our other interns that are in here, and so I thank the Lord for just having another opportunity to be in front of this camera once again. I mean, just such a busy weekday that we've had so far this week. Man, just very excited to do a lot of great things in the community this week. Talk to a lot of great people this week, and so our episode that we're going to tape this particular segment is called "People Are Watching." I kind of got that. I kind of got that slogan and that phrase from a Minister Mack at our church, Jericho Missionary Baptist Church. He preached a sermon one Sunday called "People Are Watching," and people are definitely watching us. They watch our every move. They watch what we do. Our young people are watching us. We are trying to be examples for our young people, and letting your legacy start legacy building. And you hear us talk about that a lot on UPTV and our television segments about legacy building, and like Mother Hattie say, what that dash is going to look like. So we're going to talk about people are watching. And so as we went into a school board meeting on this past, this past week, and then we went into, after the school board meeting, we went into a referendum informational segment at Jericho Missionary Baptist Church, and as a school board, and they're working on $149 million referendum that's going to be on the voting ballots this voting season, that they definitely know people are watching, and people are interested in what's going on, and being engaged and finding out what the future holds for their young people, and the future of schools and the building of schools around in the Champaign area. What is Centennial going to look like? What is Central going to look like? It was so informative over there to just be a part of that and be able to find out what's the future of Champaign schools going to look like. So many great people, superintendent being engaged, her staff being engaged, the school board being engaged, local ministers being engaged, the community leaders involved, state representative elect Carol Ammons was involved, and just being able to be a part of that. And it's nothing like when great minds get together to make great decisions for our community. It's such an exciting feel to see our community moving forward. We just went through the 5th year of Kewan Carrington, and I've had so many reporters giving me a call and saying, Sean, have we seen a change? Have we seen how's things been moving? What direction have we moved in? I think it is very unfortunate to have that young man slain at such a young age, but after that has happened, we have been engaged as a community to move forward and heal. And during that healing process, we've developed a lot of relationships. We developed a lot of things that we've addressed. We've voiced our concerns and what things make us better. And as we build those relationships and we tell our stories and we tell our testimonies to other city leaders, at least in some spaces, we've been able to make some difference and made some headway. And I think with this $149 million change, that's where I look at a change, because it's an expansion to Central School, or to Centennial School, and the development of a new Central School. And so I think it's going to be exciting for our young people to be into a bigger space with smaller classrooms, class sizes with students, so that the teachers are more excited and we're not crammed into small spaces. And what my nephew Jamar brought out a clear point the other night. Even if you didn't pass it, if you guys decided, hey, look, I don't want that taxpaying dollar to come out of my money, my monthly budget, with the years to come, and the amount of students that we have that's going to attend these schools, if you voted no, then we're just going to overcram a lot of these classrooms full of more students. So if you said no, we're busting at the seams at that point. And so it's a no-brainer to me and my nephew and a lot of other city leaders that we need to do this. We need to do this. We need to get on top of it. We need to build for the future. For Unit 4 to be able to be with the 21st century, and to be able to align with the University of Illinois and the education that's going on at the University of Illinois, so that we have quality classrooms, and we are on task for the new technology that's coming aboard. So I thank the Lord for just having to being involved, and I encourage every family get out there, get involved. When you see these meetings coming to your community, take the time out to find out what's going on. Either we always say either you're part of the problem or you're part of the solution, and definitely being part of the solution. I want to be a part of the solution because people are watching. People are watching, and they go by what they see. And if you're a dad and you're not engaged, then your kids are watching. If you're a mom and you're not engaged, people are watching. Your young people are watching, and what their lives are gonna look like. It's gonna mirror what your lives are looking like. And so when they see you engaged and you're excited, then your young people are excited also. So I think it's time to cheer on and let's move forward and let's embrace this new ideal and this new concept of this $149 million. Everything comes with a cost. And everything comes with a cost, and sometimes we just got to take that extra sacrifice. It might be a couple other extra bucks. We might have to budget a little bit for it. But in order to get that Illinois and that Champaign community that we want, I think we just need to take that sacrifice, and that's called a legacy building. That's called a building up our country. Being one of the best countries in this whole world and on earth, it comes with a sacrifice. And like our men and women are sacrificing overseas, we have to do our part here in our local community. And I just believe that deep in my heart. So I really thank the Lord for it. And when it comes from an African American perspective, from an African American man, I look at it at the eyes of that. It's a lot of things that make us tick. A lot of things that make us click as African American men, and so and it's a lot of things that have stumbled us, that have crippled us, that's been stolen from us, and so that as we heal and as we build and as we put our arms together and we embrace each other and we build on each other, you hear a lot of the negatives. Well, some cause of why the negatives are out there, and I think that it's a lot of stumbling blocks that have derailed us, and as we try to build up our young men, young African American men in the community, and I was watching a program the other night, and it's on the Oprah channel. I cannot call her what that channel is called. TV1 on network. It's the On Network. The On Network. On network. On OWN. On network. On the On Network. And so and Oprah has a great lineup. It's a young lady on there by the name of Ayanna, and changed my life, and that's what the theme is of her program. And she had a young man on there, and he was a father of 34 children, by 18 different women, and it was so impactful when I seen that program. I mean, it just hit home to so many different people that I know, so many young men that I know that's going through a struggle. And I always say, hurt people hurt people. And so when we've been hurt, we hurt other people. And sometimes it's the people that we so-called love. And so as we try to build up a family, in a hurt condition, and as I watched her build these young men up, they talked about it. A lot of times we don't talk about the things that hurt us. We just go through the motions throughout the day. As far as our community, we can't afford therapy, or at least we think it's unaffordable for us, or it's unavailable for us. So as we go into our own private spaces to heal, we heal off each other. And like I said, hurt people hurt people. So you got your haters. So you go to your haters for your solutions, and then you go into spaces with bigger haters. And even if it's a church segment, that their agenda might not be your agenda. You might not get the answers there, And so as we try to go through the motions and try to fix our problems, everybody's not on the same path. And so as I watched these young men, and what she did is she put them back to back. So one young man going through the same thing as the other young man, and put them back to back. Lean on him. See, we're afraid to lean on each other. Our community doesn't promote that, leaning on each other. We don't promote leaning on each other. Everybody's on the island by themselves, and we do our own therapy. And sometimes our therapy are drugs, alcohol. Sometimes it's even getting the thrill out of multiple women, like this young man. And that ends up creating a whole family that you didn't even want, that you weren't even trying to build, and that ends up hurting some other young person down the road. And so as we get ready to build these new things for the school and implement other programs and cultural awareness and social justice and all these other different dynamics that go into building up young people, we're building up hurt people. And that's what we found out throughout these meetings, is that we're building up hurt people. But we need a collective community effort to help us heal these young people, because all of us are hurt. All of us come short. You know, we never showed up. It's not no cookie cutter life that we kind of just showed up to. I always said you got to deal with the cards that's dealt to you. So whatever the cards might be, you know, I always liked it. I always like playing cards. I always like a dominoes or something like that, you know, because you never know what you're going to go in the pile and peel out. But it's the way you play that hand. And so building up relationships, you know, going to seek the information out, seek out the resources throughout the community. I hear people say, well, we don't have this in Champaign. We don't have that in Champaign. You know what? I shut them down with this. A lot of times, the reason why you're saying we don't have those things, because you don't want to go seek them out. And a lot of times we want our lives to change, but we don't want to change. We have to internally change. You know, I always go back to what I was always taught in church. As a man thinketh, so is he. So as a woman thinketh, so is she. And so as a kid thinketh, so is they. And so we only can be we can only be as good as what's poured into us. And so as we try to heal and we try to change, we got to change ourselves the way we think, you know, because that's the first thing, those visions in your mind. You know, what are our thoughts? You know, you got to be able to break the barriers. As I prayed this morning and me and my family, we prayed this morning, you know, I spoke to God about, you know, just changing the way we think, you know, being a game changer, you know, break the barriers, break all the barriers that we have set up. You know, because sometimes it won't be a physical barrier that's out there, but it's barriers in our mind. You know, it's a felony barrier. And, you know, you think you can't get past the felony. You know, it's the missing of a father, and you don't think you can get past that. It's the missing of a mother, and you don't think you can get past that. It might be the death in a family. You know, I seen that on Facebook this week, you know, where a person just can't move forward past the death of a loved one. You know, we got to be able to move forward. So, and seeking out the people, you know, and testing people. If you want to test your friends out to see if they can hold a secret or see if they can build you, tell them something small, something insignificant, and see how far it goes. You know, just test them. You want to test your friends out. You know, ask them for a little something. You might not even need it, but ask them for a little something. They can help you in the little something. Then that might be somebody that might be to stand with you when the going get tough. You know, I always seem to test my friends out, you know, and somebody said, well, Sean, you know, how you do this or how you do that. I said, you know what? I said, I'm not trying to build my circle any bigger necessarily. What I want to do is I want to work on the small crew that I got. And then I already know who my haters are in my small circle. So my mama say, treat them with a long handled spoon. So that means you know what to go in the drawer and get. And when you need them, you utilize this one for that and that one for this. Don't try to make everybody do everything, because everybody's not in your best interest for everything. Find out what they're good at. Then put them in line for what they're good at. And that's all about building them up. So now they back on the team, you know, because you can break the minds of your haters. Just keep standing fast, because haters can become congratulators. Just got to be able to work with people. And so I noticed one, and it thought just came to mind of a lady, and she owns she's in business. I'll say she's in business. And they said, man, she is tough. I mean, I ain't never going back up there. I said, you know what? She was tough with me at first, but I started loving on her. Like I said, hurt people, man. And even in business, they'll hurt you. But you know what? I loved on her. I started telling her how nice it was, how her good her products was. Start loving on her, giving her some of the things that she needed. But see, we always look for what we need instead of what the next person needs. And see, and I identified that. She said, Sean, she said, you know what? You can always come get something from me, because I love you. And so haters can be congratulators. You know, started out with a rough relationship. but now that relationship's solid. See, and that's what we want. We want solid relationships. And then that builds that person up. You know, each one teaching one. We're connecting. We're connecting the dots. We're building each other up. And that's what we need. You know, we got enough people going to the penitentiary. We got enough people, you know, falling through the cracks on that. That crack is wide open, you know. But how many of us can stand fast and build up a community? You know, let's do that. You know, let's work on that, you know, so we can build up better young people. I think we have a great community. You know, I've been back here 20 years working on it. And as I've been back 20 years, you know, I mean, you run through, especially in business, when you're running through business, I mean, you got the people that want to shop with you. You got the people that say terrible things about you and don't even know you, you know, all kinds of things. But as I talked to one of the brothers yesterday, he said, Sean, don't focus on the negative. Focus on the positive, because it just throws you all off focus when you focus on the negative. Focus on the positive. And that's what I encourage you viewers out there to do. Focus on the positive things in your lives. That way, because people are watching. And I always say I love Bishop Gwen. I love Sister Gwen. No matter what's going on, they're in the midst of building up a great ministry, a great church, and right in the heart of the north end of town. And it comes with some bumps and some bruises along the way. And I've been a part of that circle of trying to go through that task of trying to build. And so I know it's been tough, but they always smile. Every day. Every time you see him, he's always smiling, he's waving. You'll never know internally what's going on. So you got to smile and praise your way through it. Because if things were easy, everybody would have them. So if things got to be tough, that's building you up. That's that strength. So when you do get to your blessing and you do get to your place of victory, you can stand fast because you've been through your wilderness. You had your David moment. You know, you've had your moments of struggle and strife and transgressions and everything that people would have sent you through. And then that way it's called testimony. You can tell somebody else, and we can build off each other. You know, as I sit back and I think about just great people throughout the community. You know, on this past week, we lost a great person. We lost a great person in the amount of Coach Wayne McClain. And I tip my hat to this family for giving me an honor to be able to memorialize in the funeral home business a coach's life. And we're building such a great memorial service for him and the legacy and to be able to do a tribute, a homegoing celebration. See, it's so hard in the funeral home business for someone that didn't do anything for anybody or just a bad person to try to make them have a homegoing service. That's that dash that Mother Hattie talked about. How kind can you be? How pleasant can you be? How nice can you be? How consistent can you be? See, and that's what this man did. He was consistent from day one. He came to this community. He fell right in. He started loving on people. He came here with a purpose, and he achieved a lot of goals. You know, even from the relationship, the brokenness that we had with the connection of the African American community locally to the African American campus community. We built a bridge during that era. He came right to the center of the hood. He made himself known. It wasn't a handshake, it was a hug. You know, that's the way you embrace people. It wasn't a soft handshake. A lot of times you can feel the inner spirit of a person by the handshake. You know, the lightness of it. My brother Joe always said, give me a firm handshake. As a man, that's what we do. It shows a lot of what your integrity is, what your character is by that handshake. My brother can tell a lot of what's going on in your spirit, your timidness, and your handshake as a man. We got to build up men. I was just talking to my buddy Maurice Dorsey about that. We need to build up men because we're not building up enough men to take your place as a construction contractor. We need to build up more men in our community, African American men, strong men, to stand up. Stand up. Stand up because people are watching. Other young men are watching. And so as we're trying to memorialize Coach and I love his son Serge, love him, because during his lost his dad, but you know what he did? He went over to the school, over to Central School, and started loving on young people right after the death. Right after his dad died, he went over there to help the mourning young people. That goes to show a lot about the character of a person. You know, and so as you struggling, still love on folks. Loving on them, then loving on them back. That shows a lot. That's that dash that Mother Hattie always talks about. You know, and as I get choked up to even think about it, you know, because as he built up, you know, a lot of times when we're trying to build up our success, you know, a lot of times people cut each other off. But as we've started building up a Darren Williams, a Brian Cook, a Luther Head, a D. Brown, a Sergio McLean, as we built up that as a community to be able to help them get to the next place, the next level in life. And so as we build up other young people, as those people were able to build up, and as he came back to build up the Central guys that are over at Central now, the young people, to build up other young people throughout our community. Man, I love Coach. And I love him for the things that he poured back in his community. And that's going to just be a devastating great loss because we were on our way to something. And I think it's not over. I think it's not over. Let's just connect and let's just build up and let's get around that circle of coaches now. And let's continue Coach's legacy and what he stood for. And let's keep that thing rolling. Let's keep that fire burning. You know, a lot of times some of the guys in my circle, they say, hey, Sean, we're starting a small fire. Well, let's keep that fire going. And I think we're on our way. So as you keep tuned in, you know, call somebody and say, hey, man, Sean on TV. And we're talking about some great topics today, and people are watching. And as people watch your everyday life and your own families and your own legacy building, you know, it might start with a new career. You know, people are watching. You know, and I always tell some of my guys, I say, man, at some point in life, you got to reinvent yourself. You know, everybody reinvents themselves. Sometimes you might see an actor or a star, and you say, well, I haven't seen them in a long time. Where they're in the process of reinventing themselves. And then you might see them on an episode later on down the road. And then you say, oh, man, I hadn't seen him or I hadn't seen her in a long time. Because they had to reinvent themselves. They had got to a plateau where they peaked out. And then they might got old to somebody, and somebody that was in charge said, oh, we don't want to deal with them anymore. Or sometimes we get the big head. It happens to all of us. It happens to all of us. We start feeling ourselves. My mama said you start feeling yourself, you start smelling yourself. And sometimes that's what happens. And sometimes, so you got to stay humble. Humility is a major point and a major part of our lives, a part of character building. It's humility, being humble, humbling yourself. Mr. Johnson, great Mr. Johnson, I love Mr. Johnson, Deacon Johnson at our church. He constantly talks to me, and I love him. I love Deacon Johnson. You know, and a lot of my seniors, you know, maybe didn't have some of the opportunities that our young people had in this high technology or technical society that we're involved in now. But Deacon Johnson, he don't have to say anything to me because he said his words to me years ago, and I already know that means stay humble. And he'll tell me, he'll do like this here. That means stay down on the ground. Stay where folks can see you at, people watching. Stay down on the ground, stay humble. Humble yourself. And the Bible talks about that a lot, about being humble, you know, and meek, you know. Meek not meaning weak. Meek staying humble, you know. And some of the best people with the best character, they're meek people. You know, they got long fuses. My patience is very, 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 very long. You know, and a lot of times I've had people in my life say, man, you should have did this, or man, you should have punched them, or man, you should have, you know, because a lot of times as African-American men and men, you know, our resort to everything is violence. When we stop thinking, we resort to some anger movement, and that's called violence, you know. But, you know, what I always try to do, let's think it out. And my patience is very, very, very long because I know where God has taken me. I know what I've been through. And sometimes a lot of us look like what we've been through. I ain't trying to look like what I've been through. You know, I ain't trying to mess my face up. You know, I ain't trying to go through that problem. You know, I was just telling the brother the other day, I said, you know, God had something important for them to do. You know, and so we're 32 miles south of Chicago. But sometimes in our lives, we don't want to change. So instead of going 57 north, we'll go 57 south, We'll take Interstate 24 East. We'll hit 75 down in Atlanta. We'll hit 95 going up to D.C. to get all the way back over to Chicago. Our destination was Chicago. So we went through all the humps and the valleys and the pits and burnt all the gas up, burnt all the life energy up just to get to Chicago. When God said, hey, man, I want you in Chicago, we done burnt up 20 years, 19 different relationships, 34 kids, to now realize on Ayanna's Help Me Out show that we need to be in Chicago. And that's where God wanted us at, you know. And sometimes we have to go through that. We have to go through the bumps and the roads because it just makes us better, you know. And it's all about that testimony at the end. And it's all about getting better. That way, each one teach one. We make each other better. So everybody don't get there at the same place at the same time. Might be the same destination that we're looking for, a place of peace. And I talk a lot on this television program. I talk a lot on my radio program about a place of peace. Getting to a place of peace. And I think that's ideal. I think that's where a lot of us want to be at some point in our lives, is a place of peace, you know, where you can go home and everything's quiet, you know. You got a solitude of a moment where you can be, in your mind is at peace, your body's at peace. You don't have the stress of all the bills, you know. We have an Ebola scare that's going on around the country right now. And my girl and just everybody I know is just so stressed out about what they're hearing on television. No trust in the government. We don't trust the government. We don't trust what they're saying. We don't trust the CDC, you know. And we're so stressed out about the things that we can't control. Well, what I'll say, get more stressed out about the things you can control, you know, like a community meeting that's unattended. By people that's going to Unifor school districts and that's in control of young people that's attending Unifor school district. And how can we play a role in this $149 million referendum? The voting that's about to happen on the first week of November. How can you play a role into that for the things you can control? The legislatures that you can talk to. We're more worried about the things that we can't control. And that's where the devil wants you at. He wants you stressed out about the things that mean nothing to you right now. Means nothing to you. I think a lot of us are die from more stress, heart attack, diabetes, stroke, heart attack, just all of that. Obesity, all of that before Ebola. We're losing each other by what we say out our mouths. We're killing each other with lip service about the things we don't even know about people. We're killing each other like that. Those are the things we can control. The lack of love, the lack of respect for each other. You know, I mean, and it's not just in your family, it's in my family. It's just that's the big plague that I see us dealing with as a nation. You know, when anytime we come to a point where we can't even call the President Obama, we just give him a slang term, Obama. Man, we're in a dark place. We're in a dark place. But all a dark place need is a glimmer of light. A glimmer of light. So let's see, can you be the person that bring a glimmer of light to a dark place? So when you go in your circle of haters, can you be that positive light? Because that's all you need. They always said it takes one spoiled apple that spoiled a whole bunch. Well, can you be that one apple that helped heal the bunch? Can you be that one that just helped heal the bunch? Don't help spoil the rest of the bunch. Can you be that one that just go into that circle? And it's in all of our spaces. You know, I watched another episode of Preachers of LA, and I thank the Lord for those guys being real. A lot of times when you get to a celebrity plateau, you know, you just don't keep it real anymore. You know, we just want to portray such a fictitious life. And so when all my other spiritual leaders and stuff come to me and say, Sean, what you think about the new show, Preachers of LA? I think it's all right. For me, I keep it real because it shows how real these people are and how their lives are real. You know, they're going through something, you know, and just because we're speaking a positive word or we're saying something that be encouraging to others, you know, don't mean that we have our low moments, our low places, our things and situations that go on in our lives. You know, I mean, it just goes with the territory, and that just goes with life. Life is going to have you with some twists and some turns, you know, and I think that's what those guys are showing us on the widescreen, is that even though they're preachers, even though they're ministers, even though they're serving God, even though they're husbands, you know, even though they have families, they're fathers, you know, it comes with a struggle. And so all of our lives, you know, are work in progress. And I think just for years is that we had put people in such a plateau and in such an elevation that when they do end up doing something that's disheartening, that we don't like, we're so hurt behind of it that we never heal. We've fallen and we can't get back up because we didn't put this person next to God. Don't never put nobody that high up in your life. Never, never, ever. And I've done it in my own personal life. You know, and it hurt you so deep. It cut you so deep that it's hard to heal. So what I did, you know what? I don't put so much high expectations on people. And so when they come through for me, and when they do something that's positive, man, what you talking about? And I'm so over and so elated about the progress and about the success, because the goal is to help others. Because I already know that if I can't be positive and if I can't grow, then that those people that piggyback on me, that depend on me, then they can't be better. I listened to a guy talking about actually it was T.D. Jakes, and he spoke about how an older guy had told him about pulling that cart up that hill, and you have people on that cart, and everybody on that cart got to do a little something, you know, to help that cart get up the hill. And so in our own personal lives, we're pulling that cart as men, whatever color you is, whatever race you are, we're pulling that family cart, and those people that's in that family in that cart, you know, they have to do certain things. Maybe the young people, they got to go to school. You got to go to school in the morning. Got to get a great education. Got to get your rest at night. You know, got to get off those cell phones. Got to get on that positiveness on the internet. You know, to be a good person. That wife, you know, being that positive person. You know, but even as you're doing it as a community and in a community atmosphere, you know, you got to have those positive people in that community in that cart pulling it up there. You know, and if the people that's in that cart, as we get ready to even go into a voting season, the people, it's so much mudslinging going on. You don't know whether to believe this person or that person or this person, that just mudslinging. And you know, if you went in and if you ran into these type of people, you know, just on the street, or if they were in our daily lives, you'll cut them off. Because, man, I always say, if somebody will come to you with gossip and they'll talk about this person to you, what are they saying when you walk off? What are they saying when you get off the telephone about you? So as I even put it in a political perspective, and I say, man, this guy right here, boy, sure is mudslinging. Boy, they sure is throwing a lot of dirt, you know. And even if we go into this voting season, those people are in the cart, and they're part of Illinois too. And as we're pulling them up that hill, you know, and they're not doing the positive things that we need to happen for Illinois to be better. Sometimes you got to get the people out that cart. If they're not pulling them bricks away so we can make it up that hill, you know, if somebody's in your life and they're negative and they're not moving things out of the way so we can get that cart up the hill, because the main objective is get that cart up the hill. You know, find out what your purpose is. You know, what are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? You know, and a lot of times you'll run into a great person like Coach that'll help you get up that hill, man. That'll help you fill that void where you might not have had a father, but you ran into a great father, and you ran into a great son that allowed his dad to share him, and he shared him with other guys to make them better and make them great. And I think that's so positive. You know, during my childhood, not having a dad around and so keying in on other people's dads and my buddy Mark and his dad and Kenny and his dad and my buddy Don. I just memorialized his dad and seeing his dad interact with him, and so just being people are watching. And as a young person, I was watching. I was watching other men on the block and watching Mr. Willoughby go back and forth to work, and Mr. Owens and how he kept himself busy. And just people are watching, man. People are watching. And as our young people are watching, you know, they're trying to formulate, you know, what I'm going to do, who I'm going to be, you know. And as we have so many negatives out there for them to connect to, because people are going to connect and they're going to extend out to the people that extends the love to them. And as we ignore the situations that are going on with young people in this community, you know, they're watching. They're watching who's going to show them the love. So as I spoke with my nephew and spoke with so many different administrators, the principal over at the Ready program and different other leaders, man, they have a lot of great programs that's in store for our future. Over in Champaign and connecting it with Urbana and the University of Illinois, and just to have that connection. And so I think I'm so excited about what's going on with our community. So as we talk and as I go back, no, Kewan's life wasn't in vain. He, you know, a lot of times, you know, and I learned this in the funeral home business, you know, and God just got me in that place and took me to a direction of life that I never knew I'd be in. But it's taught me a lot. And it's not how long you be here. It's what you do while you're here. So, and I want our viewers to really, really, and so as pastors say, we roll that back. I want you to really get that. It's not how long you be here. It's what you do with God's time and the time that you have while you're here. How positive can you be? How are you going to let God utilize you in your life? And so when we reflect back on it, man, look at what has happened. Look at the connections that were built. Look at the relationships that were built. I mean, I always talk to some of our city officials about us being a role model community and being a role model community for the rest of the nation. And God has took us through our many struggles, but he's brought us out of many of our struggles. And I just think he's made us better along the way. And so I've definitely grew. People around me have definitely grew. The connections and the relationships that we have built have definitely grew. The amount of think tanks that we have throughout our community have definitely grew. I just think that we lack the amount of love that needs to be connected, whether if it's through our own community, our smaller base African-American community, our businesses. You know, I mean, we need to really build on businesses in our community. We really need to change that. And so we have identified a lot of areas in which we need to put a lot of work in. I listen to a lot of 1400 radio, and I listen to Jim's show every day. And I listen to the comments by a lot of people out there throughout this vast community and surrounding counties and surrounding communities, and the amount of a non-growth of a development of a mindset to get past where we've been in the past. Some of us have not moved forward, and some of the things that come out your mouth. I mean, I will share this with you. I will share this with the views, and these are the views and opinions of Sean's. And this is an experience that I went through right in my barbershop. I want you guys, and I really want you, the larger segment of the community, to really hear this. We were in my barbershop one morning, and I was finna cut Corey Bradford's hair. I'm gonna tell you who it was. It was Corey Bradford. And I was finna cut Corey's hair. He was waiting. And I had another guy from the hood, never been to the university, never had an education or anything, but he loved Corey Bradford for just being a part of our community, for making that step, making that leap across university that's not always made from a University of Illinois star athlete. And so as he sat in that barbershop, and I told you I'm a listener to 1400, I've been listening for a long time. And we were listening. And a lot of times the viewers and the listeners out there, they don't understand that these are still kids. They might be our star athletes, but they're kids. And their feelings are easily hurt too. And we were listening to a caller that called in. And the caller said, Man, Corey Bradford couldn't throw a rock in the ocean. He was in a slump. But we didn't remember when Corey Bradford, when Dick Vitale said, hey, Corey Bradford is the best shooting guard in the nation. We didn't remember that moment. Great moment in history. Hurt that young man's feelings. Really hurt him. He got up and he walked to the bathroom. And I told him, I said, Corey, don't worry about that, man. I said, don't go in no slump. Don't even worry about that, because we'll have those people, we'll have those negative people that might say some things like that, say some outlandish stuff. But you're a star, man, and it's a lot of people look up to you. And Corey, he smiled, man. And so that was one of the experiences that we had. Jarence Howard was another experience that we had. I talked to Jarence, and Jay Howe, he was, one of the guys said, you don't get any playing time. And I remember the times when Jarence used to get on the floor and he would be excited to get on the floor. But not all of us are built up for that position. But you know what I told Jarence? I said, you know what? I said, man, it's a whole lot of ways to skin a cat, man. Maybe being a player might not be it. Maybe you might not be the star in playing. But man, I see how excited you are about coaching, and I see how excited you are about training, and I see how excited you are about basketball. I said, man, you can get to the NBA by being a coach. And it changed his whole mindset. See, I talked about changing the way you think. Now to see him on Kansas bench, to be able to embrace him this week and next week on Coach's Memorial Service, and to be able to hug on that young man and love on that young man. We have to change the way we think so we can change the way the people that we're connected with think. The people that's in the trailer, the people that's in that and that we're pulling along up that hill. And sometimes you're pulling a star athlete like Corey Bradford, or a star athlete like Jarence Howard, like Coach, was pulling those guys up to a level of success. And that's what we're doing to the Kiwan Carringtons in our life. We're taking them to a level of success so that they can be great people. So in order for us to have the type of community that we all know we can have, let's be more positive toward each other. Let's say better things to each other. Let's love on each other. Let's try saying 4 or 5 less negative things about people that we don't even know, and let's say positive things. Let's get out to some community meetings. Let's find out what's going on in our community. I watched a story, a news story that was by our local news channels, and it was a baby. Some of the people that were driving, they said they seen a baby walking into a field out in North Champaign, and they called 911, but no one never stopped. No one never stopped. That's what behooved me. If you see a baby walking in a field with a pamper on, no shirt, no one never stopped. That's called tragedy. That's called the loss of a loved one. That's called a whole community going through a trying time when no one never stops. But we'll stop for an animal in the street. It's so many times I've almost wrecked and miss a squirrel or miss a bird, miss a dog, and tear your vehicle up, miss a deer. But we won't stop for people. People are the most important thing that we have going on. So we got to start caring about each other. And it doesn't make a difference to me what race it is. It's people. It's called America. Humanity. And it starts right with you, being better. So I thank the Lord for this television program. I thank the Lord for UPTV. I thank the Lord for everybody that come and say, Sean, I watch your television program every Sunday night. And some of my viewers watch me at 4 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning after coming out and been out there all night long and can't sleep, and they flick through them channels. There is Sean. It just gives me a warm feeling to be able to go through our community and to be able to shake hands and love on people. And that's what God has, finding out my purpose. And if it's a song that said, if God doesn't do anything else, he's already did enough. And so I feel that deep in my heart. And so I thank the Lord for everybody that's out there. And I thank the people that connect with me, because you can't do it by yourself. So don't stay on the island by yourself. Do not stay on the island by yourself. You can't do it by yourself. So get out of those four walls. Get away from where the chatter's in your ear and the devil's talking to you. And get out there and meet some people. Get out to our local library. We have a great facility out there. Get into our city council chambers. We got great city council chambers and great city leaders. And get out there and meet some people on the University of Illinois, and do what Roy Williams had done, and so many others have done, and get out there and meet people on the university, self-educate yourself, all those type of things, and don't say what we don't have. You create what we now do have. And so I thank the Lord for you. Continue to pray for me, and I'm going to pray for you. Thank you for another episode of Let the Truth Be Told.